Yeah.
Alright. It's time to stop. It's time to start. I leave these guys unattended for 2 seconds and they go on a meme train. Choo choo, motherfucker. So, anything else anyone wants to do during the dinner, or you just kind of let it?
At some point, I will bring up the fact to Lady Flower that I started a school.
You do that, and she turns fully towards you, crossing her arms. Doesn't say anything.
Does she look upset? Based on my natural 1 insight earlier.
She looks upset all the time, according to you.
Yeah, she is gonna kill you, Voss. Oh my god.
Frustrated curiosity.
I'm not gonna say anything else about it. I'm just gonna drop that and see. Just let her ask questions if she has them, I guess.
What a...
Really nice. It's in the Alchemist District. And there's a lot of pretty floral and fauna.
I'm just
And I think it has
distracted
one
by
member.
Nikki.
I think it has 1 member. 2.
There are at least 2 members.
2 members.
Well, our order does quite well, training 1 or 2 members at a time. That may be of use to our family at one point, Voss. I will encourage you to make intelligent use of your time. And that's all she says.
Just say to her, time is something I always attempt to make the utmost use of. And in my opinion, having the school provides not only an opportunity in the ways of resources, fighters, clout, political and militaristic, it also provides me with a select group of sparring partners that I may sharpen my skills, not merely practicing form, but practicing a practical application.
You do not have to sell this idea to me. But it may be of use. Thank you for informing me.
This is why I tell you. And rest assured, no secrets of ours, anyways, will make their way into the training of these new recruits.
That is right. There are no secrets within House Nor, she says, looking again to Draco for a few moments. Before standing and saying, Lady Univara, if you would want to look at the magical item.
Yes, of course. Right now or after dinner? I, of course, have it on me.
Is finished. Oh. She says, Draco is like, yeah, exactly. Again, Draco and Rakath look at each other, having a very relatable moment. And Rokos nods and is like, yes, we will have this all cleared away.
I will pull out the lead box and immediately take the crystal out of it. I'm so sorry for this horrible, ugly box. And we put this
take the box away.
Beautiful crystal in.
At this point, servants are like clattering around to remove things.
If there's tea available,
yeah. After like dinner, tea is served. Yes.
Yes, I'll pour it for the lady as like a respectful gesture.
She will again. She will take the blade, and place it on her lap. She's sitting cross-legged, and then just straight pick up the crystal. Like I said, it hurts to hold. She doesn't really show any uncomfortableness, but you think maybe if she felt it, she wouldn't show it anyway. And she just looks at it through her very intense eyes for a few long, lingering moments. It is correct that this magic holds within it fell magic. Magic might be the incorrect term. Magic brings the connotations that this is being controlled. Perhaps the more correct term would be energy. This magic...
Things can radiate magical energy. Mages and wizards are trained to harness that energy where it comes from. So I understand the distinction. This is a font. Or a source,
Yes.
as it were.
Of shadow magic from the realm of shadow, the Huhaga, the resting place. Like I said, our order knows of this quite intimately. I may have to do some meditation on exactly what this item means. Aether Crystal can store a vast amount of magical energy, usually in the form of arcane, but this has been replaced by shadow. Not something of deliberate nature, I believe. Most likely an arcane crystal in too close to a slip space or manifestation zone of the realm of shadow. Such places where the borders between realities.
That is wonderful. I'm very curious on what would happen if we attempted to break it into smaller pieces.
Aether Crystal is volatile.
Mm-hmm.
That is not necessarily due to the arcane magic within it, but the composition. It would most likely explode and destroy everyone in this room but I. I would be protected
That is
by
very
the more
unfortunate.
blade, of course.
I know, so I've experimented quite a bit with Aether Crystal myself. I know that it is like a reservoir, and then when you fill it too much, it overflows. So if you were
Yes.
to crack it, if one piece contained more than the other, it would overflow, right?
Yes. What would be more
Is there a way to
possible-
do it safely?
What would be possible would be to siphon magic from one crystal to another.
Mm.
I say this because you have a contract to return this to the city, yes?
We do.
But you are a magician of curiosity.
Yes, I am.
It would be a waste for you not to be able to research this further.
It would.
I understand. There are a great many secrets and powers that the Shadow Realm can offer those who are willing to listen to it.
Well, my power lies in the soul, and I guess in the mind. To an extent. I guess somewhere between the lines of soul, mind, and lies the future.
That has a relation to the realm of shadow. Absolutely. The best way... she actually does take a few moments, clearly thinking through how she wants to say this, and then starts something which Voss would vaguely remember as a young boy being told, in a very similar way, that it is told when the world was born as but a flaming ball of life, that two mirrors were created, a realm filled with life where everything was born, and a realm of death where everything ended, overseen by guardians of death, which was Shadow. The dragons created their own afterlife, in many ways usurping the ways the universe intends. So they say. So the realm of death, the Shadow Realm, is not the afterlife, but an end, a realm of death. It might not be where many go where they die, but it has... To put it in simple terms, this crystal holds within it the magic of death. That is the magic of shadow. The capabilities of it. Now our order masters the magic of death in order to grant us strength and a swift end to our enemies. Those who are, looks to both Voss and Rokos, those who are strong enough to wield it, and mindful enough to withstand it. But our temple holds such similar magic. I am sure if I emptied this crystal of its magic and gave you a new one, you would hand this crystal in and people would be perturbed. It may be possible, if it would be agreeable, if it was decided worthy, that I could fill a new crystal with partly the magic from this aether and the magic from the temple. I will admit that this dark aether is more pushing at the boundaries of the power it can have, which makes it quite potent. Make both weaker, but in a way that should be undetectable to those who are not experts in the realm of shadow. Is that an idea you are interested in, lady?
Very much so. And I kind of just will shoot a side glance to Draco to be like, don't you fucking say a word.
Draco is trying to understand everything that's going on, but does not actually say anything.
Oh yeah, he can be lost. It's fine.
He's a bit lost.
Rakath is actually taking some notes, which is weird.
That would be wonderful. Do you know, so I am absolutely, I love the idea of splitting the magic inside the crystal rather than the crystal itself. But I know that the crystal can be itself reshaped because it can be consumed as a drug in the city of Narashiro. They have to alter the physical form of it somehow without it being explosive. I'm not sure how the process works. It's a closely guarded secret by the gnomes.
At that,
How does he
Voss
figure
kind
it
of scoffs a little bit and he just shakes his head and he's like, you should see the level of degeneracy within the city. They fiend for this crystal dust like unlike anything you've ever seen.
Rockoff scoffs and, in an equal way and says, that is truly disgusting.
Just on that note, Univar, I've had some thoughts. I think you seemed frozen there for a moment. I don't know, my vision
cold.
might be a little bit off. I believe that in order to maintain the volatility of the crystal and maintain the magic within it while still slowly withering it down, one would need to file it away. It would be an arduous process. Filing it away would create a powder. Powder is what they use. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. One of the safest ways to deal with a volatile subject is to slowly work away at it.
There are also jewelers who understand how to interact with crystal without damaging its magical properties. I am not a jeweler. I am chosen by the forces that be to know quite intimately of shadow. Now, such things cannot be given for free. I am sure you can assist us with a favor that your brother Rokos has not been able to complete himself.
Oh, we'd love to help in any way we can.
At that notion, Voss just kind of doesn't say anything, but he's just like...
Truly, if there's anything you need, we don't have to exchange anything for it. You don't need to ask.
After
Rakath
all,
kicks Voss, by the way, with his stupid smirk on his face.
we are to be family. Yes. Very wise, young Univara. At this point, she puts the crystal back in the box, but doesn't close it. I will take time to meditate upon this and read the ancient scrolls. But you can assist us. There is little that lives out so far, where the light does not hold. Little now, but there are unpleasant creatures that linger. In like a pause, Rokos actually speaks up and says, they're called Nyogi. They are deeply unpleasant creatures that have enchantment abilities. I have been trying to rid them from this place, but they are more intelligent than their beastly appearance will seem, just like your friend here. And Jericho actually says, I mean, it's not quite fair to compare him to a complete monster. This guy.
Rakath looks very confused at Draco for a moment.
That's so nice.
And Rose clears as I would actually appreciate your assistance, because they are a nomadic race that has settled in some hole in this place nearby, taking slaves with them. They are few in number now, but I have infiltrated their lair and seen that they have laid their young. And if they hatch and grow, then we will have a pest problem that will just be a nuisance. A nuisance I can deal with, my lady. Lady Farah just very sharply says, evidently, you cannot. You have not. And your brother will have the chance with his companions to complete what you have failed to do. Rogus just hangs his head a little bit.
Rakath preemptively kicks Voss before he puts a stupid smirk.
I don't say a word. I do not say
It's not a matter of saying.
Yeah.
The lips move.
I just like nod my head slightly. I do not say anything.
Rocco, show your brother where this lair is when they are ready to rid these creatures. I can sense power about these 4.
I'm just basking in the flames of Rokos being roasted by Lady Fire right now. But with that, Voss will just kind of lean forward saying,
perhaps this would be better to be done in the morning.
yes, precisely what I was about to ask. Is this an urgent matter, or should we take this up at the first hours of the morning?
Considering your brother's numerous failed attempts, it is not as urgent as it once was. She stands and says, please, I wish you comfort in your stay. And when she takes the blade, she clearly seems like she was going to keep talking, but just kind of drifts off and turns again very distant and will go off to her meditation spot. Shortly after, Rokos will just stand and leave.
It was very nice meeting you.
Draco's like, I think that went fairly well.
Mm-hmm.
I would say so. I've not seen Lady Farah in such a beaming mood in...
What a lovely woman.
And she hasn't tried to duel us yet. Yay.
This is
Yes. That would be...
true. Which might be a good thing or a bad thing. It's hard to say.
I'd lean towards bad.
Well, she also does recognize, and I'll just gesture to Jericho, that you hold value beyond your martial prowess. So in one way or another, she has already begun sparring with you.
Draco's just tenses up slightly at that.
Draco, Your words this evening have been very kind. Thank you.
Yes, don't get too used to it, Raka.
I wouldn't dream of it.
I am selling you as the potent asset you are.
Reiko,
What?
you know you care for Ragaf too.
Unlike you, I am
I can
as
read
most
minds,
elves,
unlike you.
and I do not care for anyone. Especially you, my frustrating, annoying
true.
younger sister.
You love Yuna very much. It's very clear in your eyes.
Drow do not love.
That's not true.
Not true.
Insight this whole situation.
Oh, he is! There's something a little flustered about Draco right now. Something about this whole situation has got in his mind. It's actually kind of hard to tell. Even with a 20, you know, I'm giving you a far nugget when even then I'm like, ooh. But he's a little flustered. Not by Yuna's chiding. And we'll stand up and we'll say, well, I will sort out my chambers. You don't want me to help you fighting these nearly beasties, do you?
It
No,
would
no,
be
no.
dishonorable to bring such a powerful warrior with us. I'm sure you understand.
It
Are you
seems
mocking
that
me,
Pyro
Voss?
would like to test Voss. I think if we bring you along, it would be unfair.
And no, Draco, not mocking, just letting you in on a little brotherly rivalry. I'll give him a little grin.
Huh. He will get up and head across to his room.
And then I'll just look at you and say, should our houses be joined, he will be unrelentingly harassed by Rokos. Once the barrier of initial politeness has waned, nothing but roasting will remain.
I did not know you to be such a petulant child, Voss.
Petulance has nothing to do with it.
I believe it does.
It is merely a game of survival.
I believe that petulance is exactly the word I intended to use there, and he's gonna pat you on the shoulder and then retire to his room for the evening.
Something you
sneaking
notice
out a piece of lice meat with him.
when you're sneaking it out in a way that everyone can tell because you don't really care. On the way out, you actually notice something in one of the rooms, sort of between. There's a lot of, you know, just open rooms that are mostly for conversation and sitting. There's actually a wood carving of Voss and Rokos and his parents and Lady Fyra when they were younger. It's very detailed.
I thought you were going to mention a third child there for a second.
Dun dun
I was
dun! And
We don't talk about
Draco!
the third child.
I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and take a look at it for a little bit. Is there anything?
Give me an art critic roll. Give me a perception roll. In my homebrew system for a while, one of the wood elves in that race had an ability to understand cultural cues via art.
That's awesome.
This is a bit of a weird alignment with it, but in a way, I'm trying to assess it in a similar way that I would assess forgeries. Would I be able to utilize?
I'll allow that because that's kind of an artistic skill. Tooling.
That's kind of what I was thinking with it, and it's not quite an investigation, but you know, well, that's not terrible.
You definitely notice something strange about it, but you can't put your word on it. It is kind of humorous seeing, you know, Voss and Rokos at what would be 12 in human years, in, like, training armor.
Right.
Their parents look very nice. The dad looks like Voss, which is maybe a little bit terrifying. Or heartwarming,
Just got a
depending.
photocopier.
Yeah. Just an older Voss. But the mum looks very nice and kind. But there's something off about it. You can't put... Like, there's a reason why you look at it and your eyes linger and you can't quite put your big lumpy finger on it. Is it made of
actual wood or is it made of fungal wood?
It is a wood carving print on stone.
Okay. I'm not taking it.
It's on like a wall.
I'm not taking it.
Don't steal my family photos.
So I get it. So it's a stone. It's a. Okay,
it's a piece of art on stone, but it is a wood carving print.
I understand. Okay.
Because wood is not common enough here to use for an actual print, material, but use it for the printing. With multiple shades of... It's all shades of grey on a fairly light stone.
Okay. I mean, I want to put my hands on it. I want to feel. I want to see, like, not in a weird, creepy way, but like just.
There's texture.
Yeah, there's texture to it. Okay.
It's the kind of. This is a very traditional drow art style, which is not so common in Narashiro now, unless someone is trying to flex on how traditional they are. But it is not only a wood print on stone, but it uses quite a thick paint so that it has texture to it, and the texture can be used so that the skin has different texture to the armor, to the...
Right. Now, obviously, I'm using a very soft touch as I'm going over it. I'm very much trying to be gentle with it.
It's like there's sawdust in some of the paint and stuff like that.
Okay. So it's clearly a quality production.
It's a quality production, yeah.
It is. I mean, that's not a surprise at all. And unfortunately, I have no way to copy this and steal it and replace it with a copy. So I am going to unfortunately just have to, I mean, I'm gonna have to leave it, I think. But actually, one more thing that I wanna ask about with this. Given that there's something off about it, it's Voss, Rokos, their parents, and Lady Fyra.
Yes.
No notion of family for Lady Fyra at all, apart from her presumably...
She is Voss's aunt, so...
Yes.
Probably a brother of...
Voss's mom or Voss's dad? Does she look like...
I'll let you decide that, Josiah, which side she's from.
I would say she probably looks more like Mamma Mia.
Okay.
There we go again.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I'm gonna walk directly back into the room where Yuna and Voss are.
Jeez, I'm glad this guy just left and he just turned around after like 10 minutes.
I just noticed that wood carving in the room over there of you and your brother and your family when you were quite young, Voss.
Yes, what of it?
Something is off about it and I can't put my finger on it and I need your help.
What a peculiar thing to say about someone's family bust.
Well, to be perfectly honest, from a family standpoint, it's quite nice. Your family seems quite pleasant, which is interesting. But from an art standpoint, something about it just is off. I don't know.
Oh, can I see?
Please, I need someone else's eyes.
I'm gonna look at it.
Here we go.
Here I go again on my own.
Investigation check, or perception check, or any other check you think is worthwhile.
Well, first of all, is it magic?
No.
So, perception or investigation? It's the same roll for me.
This is why I bring other people.
You notice, and this takes a bit of time. This isn't something you're like, this was done like 150 years ago, maybe more, within that time range. But at some point since its completion, it has been tweaked. Lady Fyra has been changed slightly. It appears that more texture has been added. She's just been tweaked slightly. It's kind of hard to exactly say how.
Has anything been added to it, or has it been taken
away?
Added
to it, not taken away. It would be very hard to take away from this kind of painting, which is why you're pretty confident they didn't.
Rakat, don't look.
Give me a sleight of hand.
Can you just point for if you're going to do something? Just get me to do it.
But do it.
Your nail leaves a slight mark across the area that you were checking. Because what it looks like is that
fine, we can get Ruffy to mend it.
The shading on Lady Fira, the areas where it seems like she has a bit of a rash on her fingers around her eyes and things like that, looks like that's newer, and you just leave a big screech mark across one part of her face.
Okay, we can get Ruffy to mend it. He has a spell for that. But this was added recently.
Why did you not just tell me that?
Because I wanted to see if there was anything underneath it. I think there is, but I'm not gonna.
Something is added. There's definitely something underneath it. Whatever was there before the thing was added. I'm so sorry, boss.
It's fine. We can fix it. Maybe. Go get the little one.
The little one. Okay. I'm gonna go get Rofi and just pick him up and bring him.
Cast mending.
What are we doing over here?
Rofi, do you mind just mending this right here?
What's broken about it?
The scrape.
Oh, it's art.
That's
That's Voss.
Yes.
He's much smaller in this.
Yes. Younger. I think old. This is an old painting.
So it's a picture from the past, not the future.
Correct.
So in the future, Voss doesn't shrink.
Not that we know of, but maybe.
Do you want me to fix this?
Yes, please.
Cast mending. Fixes it.
Rofi, thank you. I appreciate you. Here's some lice meat because you were distracted.
Oh! Got to eat.
I bring him back.
Oh!
It's all fixed. But something has been added to
Would I know anything about that?
You can give me a history check or insight.
Sure.
History kind of makes more sense.
That's not great.
Don't really
Hard
know
to
why
say.
they would do that, but
There are any number of reasons why someone would add something to a painting, but it's usually because they're not happy with it. Or because it needs to hide something. One of the two. Either way, it's usually they're not happy with it. Or it just was not finished and the artist is not happy and wants to keep doing it forever.
I mean, this was a very specific change that was made many years after the fact.
Yes.
Well, if we're done defacing my family artistry,
For now.
for now, I suggest we all retire to the hot springs. It has been a very long road, and I know you two could probably use some rest and relaxation.
okay.
I know you don't speak for yourself there, Voss.
No, Rakath, I intend to stand fully armored at the edge of the pool. That was a joke.
Yes. If you do, I will push you in.
You head over. Like I said, the hot springs is its own little hut building. This has a lot more artistry to it, which kind of leads you to believe that like this was built at a different time. It probably was an open-air hot springs. And honestly, Voss and Vrogas probably helped build this at some point. It's a nice little area. It means there's a natural hot spring here, and it's kind of like a rocky pool. Water bubbles up. It doesn't come in from somewhere else. Which makes it kind of like a hot tub. But fungal wood and stone paneling has been put around it, so now it's actually like a comfortable bathing chamber, but just very natural water. It still has that kind of minerally smell. There's all sorts of tinctures and oils and things, all very herbal and noted in the same way as the barrels and fermented items and things like that. Some meant to ache wounds in battle, fix aching wounds in battle, not make them ache more, but, maybe. Yeah, it's quite comfortable and very steamy.
Yeah,
Lovely.
I'm gonna jump in.
Hop in. Yeah.
I like this place. It's very warm.
It's very nice.
Indeed. It's a hot spring after all.
Yes. So, Voss, are you happy to be home?
Oh, of course. It has been a very long time since I have been in the confines of our keep.
You feel safer here than you do back home.
Oh, absolutely. There's almost no chance of someone attacking this place, and if they did, well, let's just say there's a reason people don't attack this place.
And what is that reason?
Oh, you met her at dinner.
Yes, but why?
Well, I
What about
presume it is out of fear of absolute destruction. Most things that are smart enough to know not to attack this place don't, and the things that aren't smart enough are not a considerable threat. So I absolutely feel at ease compared to the city.
Well, you have certainly managed to avoid my question entirely.
Perhaps I've been spending too much time around Jericho.
Well, he will be your brother soon.
By law, yes. This is true.
My condolences.
Well, to be fair, you will also be inheriting another sibling, so it is an even trade of trepidation.
I love my brother, and I love your family.
Great.
So.
I'm sincerely glad that you enjoy their company.
Wonderful.
And I can't wait to bother your brother more. That is going to bring me quite a bit of amusement. I
am extremely anxious to see the moment in which he ceases pleasantries with you. Which may not be for some decades.
You think so?
Oh, yes.
I'm very persistent. I was thinking too.
The beautiful thing about this life is that you get to choose your family.
This is true in many ways.
Well, in Drow society, if you don't like your family, you murder them.
That's also very true.
And in my case, I've been lucky enough to find family in you guys. So... lucky me. Unlucky you, though.
No, don't say that.
Well,
With that, I'll just kind of get out of the bath and give Rakap a little pat on the lump. And just say, you're not that bad.
Well, even Draco seems to be warming.
I've been related to worse. In fact, I still am. Speaking of which, I should go speak with Rokos about tomorrow's affairs. So I will
Be sure to ask
do it.
why the creatures have to be moved at all. What exactly is the issue?
Proximity, I presume, but I will be sure to ask him
Well,
exactly.
yes, but
They are also intelligent beings, from what was said.
very, if they can enchant.
Any intelligent being is potentially a threat to a stronghold.
We should try to figure out how to convince them to move, and if not, we can kill them and take their young.
What an uncool sentence.
I wonder.
I agree.
I wonder if they will distill well.
Only one way to find out.
I mean, either we're gonna impress your family and I won't have to kill anybody, or, we impress your family and I get a bunch of new egg buddies I can hatch.
How do you think they scramble?
So win-win.
I like the idea of Voss leaving this conversation, but it does continue.
What was the question, Raka?
How do you think they scramble?
So
Scramble
Voss
all
is
the
going to
baby.
see his brother. Who is outside on the porch, polishing his sword.
Classic.
Uh-huh. He doesn't acknowledge your presence. He doesn't acknowledge your presence. He's just sort of sitting there.
Oh, sorry, you froze for a second.
Okay.
Okay.
I know. Yeah.
I'll just go take a seat beside him. No. I'll just go take a seat beside him and then start doing the same with my sword. And just do that for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And then just ask him, so, as much as I have to admit, it was amusing to see the absolute lambasting of your person at dinner. I do have to ask, what exactly has been the issue with these creatures that you have not been able to slay them?
They are cunning alien creatures. We have seen them before. They usually do not stay. They have stayed, it causes them a problem. If some wandering creature wanders near our walls, it is not our place to destroy them. Death will take everything in time. These things, they need their sentence sped up. They enrapture the minds of people and then use them as food for their young. I think they're building something that...
In the same way that the Ebimari enrapture those that they take as slaves?
I believe it is a more arcane magic. Not that of the mind, but I am not a magician. But I have been fallen prey to one or two of their spells before, and it has been an uncomfortable process.
I can only imagine. Univara will hopefully have some insight on this. So I also must ask, tomorrow, of course, you'll be showing us where they have settled.
Yes.
Do you also intend to fight with us?
I believe I am not meant to. I think Lady Farah made that quite perfectly clear.
Very well. Well, I of course would never go against her wishes.
Of course.
I merely thought to extend the courtesy of allowing you to come along and perhaps show her that you are indeed a competent warrior, but if this is meant to be some sort of test, then I suppose that is out of the question.
Every task she gives us is some sort of test.
This is true. how has she been lately these past months?
He just kind of shakes his head in as much of a shrug as you can have without actually shrugging.
Yeah. What has she had you occupying your time with these days?
Defense. Training. She does not bother herself with the day-to-day runnings of things. She meditates here or in the temple. I believe perhaps the dragon is talking to her.
Interesting. Something else that one of Yuna's retainers actually pointed out to me. Did she have that wood carving altered?
Why would she?
Well, I don't know. This is why I asked you. Interesting. It seems to have been altered by someone. For what purpose, I do not know, but...
Perhaps it was a trickster fae.
Don't know if I've seen any of those around, but I'll keep my eyes peeled.
There is a slight clattering from the guest rooms behind you.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I think your time in the city has made you paranoid, brother. Looking for skeletons in closets that only hold shirts.
Perhaps. But within the walls of Narashiro, more often is the case, they, in some cases, contain literal skeletons.
I am sure I would find that city wholly unpleasant.
I can only imagine that you would. The level of degeneracy and blind worship of the goddess is just insanity.
If they are all like Jericho, then it is a wonder that the city works at all.
I'll just lean into him and just say, believe it or not, Jericho is among the best of them.
I will believe for now.
And I do not say this merely to try to talk him up, but it is truly a sight to behold.
There can be wisdom among fools.
This is true. Hence why he has come to our home. But it is a very strange place, to be sure. One which hopefully you will see someday.
I would hope not.
Sometimes the most unpleasant experiences can be the most valuable.
Yes, I know of Lady Fyra's teachings. There is a lesson in every pain.
And
I hope that your fiancé does not bring you any of these pains, but many a lesson.
that thus far has been the case. She is capable of things the likes of which I have never seen up until this point. Her magic is extremely subtle, yet immensely powerful in the right hands. In this case, those hands being hers.
Yes, I understood. He stands up. Again, an elvish pause. Strange times we find ourselves in.
Very. I will show you something you may find quite amusing. And I'm going to just like kind of move my robe to the side and show him that brutal glowing.
Yeah! He will look with quite some interest and kind of rub his brow a little bit like I do, and shake his head. Like, the Church of Idrith, the Drow of the city, claim it to be the most decadent, civilized thing in the world, but it is clearly the most barbaric. They would call us barbarians for worshipping the fact of death. Worship isn't even the correct term. Understanding.
This is true, and it would seem, brother, that I have been cursed by the gods.
Well then, perhaps in time we will bring that curse to the god's door and knock it down ourselves.
They can only send so many servants to my blade before I ask for your assistance in the matter. So I'm sure that day will come.
He will scoff slightly at the idea of asking for help, playfully.
Yeah.
And will give you a slight nod bow and just head off to meditate, kind of.
Cool.
Off to check the rounds of the house and then head off.
I'm gonna go to bed. Or Matt, whatever. I'm going to Matt.
Well, I hope Matt likes that. We're gonna be back after a little breaky brew.
Oh,
Recharge my comedy cells.